Well, I guess you get to see us as a band, Daisy Jones and the Six, start from a very young age and go through our whole career and our rise and our fall and all the drama that that entails. And you stay with us until we're in our 50s. So you got it all in there.
So I play Simone Jackson, who is a an artist, a singer-songwriter, and she becomes one of the pioneers behind the disco music movement. She's also Daisy's best friend at some point. Daisy's only friend, and she's the person who encourages Daisy to take the stage and own her musicianship, her lyricism. She also has a trajectory of her own of finding her voice and reinventing this new genre of music.
I play Billy, and Billy is a member of the Six, which is a band that was formed in Pittsburgh. They're from humble beginnings. He had a few issues with his childhood with his father, and he has much trauma from his past. But he kind of carries that through, through to the band kind of starting to grow. He goes through a little addiction issues, a few addiction issues, rehab, baby, marriage, and then I mean the turmoil of the creativity kind of getting in the way of like married life and juggling the two, and a love triangle.
Eddie's the bass player of the Six and Daisy Jones and the Six. He's kind of spelled out in the book and generally amongst people as the bass player with a chip on his shoulder. I think he spends all of his time kind of, just thinking that he deserves more, thinking that he should be the leader of the band, basically wanting the crown, But I think perhaps his journey is ultimately that he realizes eventually that maybe he wouldn't have been cut out for it in his own way. But maybe that's still quite hard for him to accept. I think Eddie has a lot of love for Camilla and a lot of envy for Billy.
I think like we had the benefit of a lot of time. We went from starting to just try to learn how to play our instruments to becoming really comfortable and like something that really you can't fake it, and then for me personally there was a lot of like specificity that we got into that like I realized, oh, I want to play with timbale sticks. Oh, I want to learn traditional grip instead of, so it's kind of like a jazz grip. I want to have like a tilted, like strange setup, like, and you get more specific and that makes it feel a lot more real as you get into it.
Yeah, and we
Um,
was originally just supposed to have 3 months to prepare.
I had 1 month to prepare. That's the
Yeah, you had
same.
one
Yeah.
month, you had a
I don't know
month,
how
I
you were
had
gonna swing that
3.
4 weeks.
I
Listen,
mean,
learn guitar, learn how to sing,
Yeah,
learn.
there was a moment I think when we were filming eventually, 2 years after we were meant to start filming, that I remember sitting on set and I started chuckling to myself, going, I cannot imagine the show that we would have
Right.
shot like 2 years ago
it would have been so different.
had the pandemic not happened, had we not had the extra year and a half of practice,
It would have been a lot of inserts and
it was
close-ups
a
and the
lot of
back of Sam's head.
miming.
Well, in my case, I'm not part of the band, but I would say that Simone is probably one of the most expanded characters from book to screen. So just to build who she was as a human being, there was a lot of back and forth. And musically, for me, it was also making sure that she didn't sound too much just like me, especially in the first song. Making sure that I didn't have all of my particular musical phrasing and nuances that are very particular to my ear and my background, and making sure she was authentic to the singers of the time, soul singers, disco singers of the time, who really get their shine. And she goes through this storyline as well, navigating the industry as a Black queer woman, and she gets to. Um, Show some of the harsher realities that black queer musicians went through at the time.
Yeah, well, it was strange because we spent a lot of time with Riley during like the band camp, the rehearsal process, and then when we started filming, obviously so much of Daisy's storyline is with Nabia, and we very rarely got to see Nabia because obviously their storyline was kind of separate to ours. And there was like a lovely moment during the last concert where we had this handover and a little hug, a little shared off stage. But it was nice to sort of have Nabia join us as a band in that moment. And yeah, I mean, Riley's performance in this is just sort of absolutely mesmeric. She's incredibly captivating and charismatic and brings so much to Daisy. But at the same time, it's her. You know, she is just so wonderful and easy. For me especially, but I'm sure everyone can agree with me.
It was very easy to form a friendship with her. It was not that part was not hard, and it was extremely collaborative as well. We definitely talked a lot about, even if there were parts of the Daisy Simone dynamic that weren't on screen, it was definitely in our minds. We talked a lot about what it was like to be in this, interracial friendship at the time, and how moments in maybe one episode those things would come out, maybe not in speech but just in presence and in their dynamic.